From heartbreaking losses on the very last hole, to impossible shots that left everyone speechless. These are the 15 most unbelievable moments ever happened in Masters history. While some shots at Augusta are remembered because they're perfect, others, on the other hand, are remembered because they shouldn't have happened. And then there's this one. Phil Mickelson was standing in the pine straw on Augusta's 13th hole during the final round of the 2010 Masters, ball nestled in a mess of needles and dirt, trees everywhere, and no clear path to the green. For most people. But this is Phil. And when Phil sees chaos, he sees opportunity. The shot in front of him. A 6-iron, 200 yards, through a narrow gap in the trees no wider than a doorway, off an unstable lie with everything on the line. Any sane golfer would chip out, take the safe route. But Phil, he went for it. What happened next barely made sense. He launched a laser that zipped through the trees, somehow missed every branch, landed softly on the green, and rolled to a stop just a few feet from the cup. The crowd exploded. The commentators were stunned. And everyone watching at home had the same thought. He didn't just do that, did he? Phil didn't just go for it. He pulled off something that looked physically impossible and made it look easy. Number 13 might be the quietest Masters win, with the loudest backstory. When Patrick Reed slipped on the green jacket in 2018, it should have been the proudest moment of his career. But instead of roars and cheers echoing through Augusta, there was awkward silence. The applause? Soft. The crowd? Meh. And for a guy who just won one of golf's biggest prizes, Reed looked more like someone who crashed the party than hosted it. Why? Because Reed didn't just bring a scorecard to Augusta, he brought baggage. Old college teammates had accused him of cheating and stealing. He'd been kicked off the University of Georgia golf team. Even at Augusta State, where he led the team to 2 national titles, he reportedly wasn't exactly winning popularity contests. And the drama didn't stop there. Reed's own family wasn't even invited to the tournament. That's right, his parents and sister watched him win his first major from home. They lived just a few miles from the course. Oh, and then there's him. Brash, confident. Once said he was a top 5 player in the world when he hadn't even cracked the top 20. The kind of guy who celebrates hard, fist pumps louder, and walks like he's already won before he hits the first tee. So, when he held off Jordan Spieth and Ricky Fowler to win that Masters, yeah, it was clutch. But it was also complicated. Patrick Reed won the tournament. But if you listened closely, it sounded like Augusta wasn't quite sure how to feel about it. Coming in at number 12. What if I told you 2 of the greatest shots in Masters history didn't even count? No green jacket on the line. No leaderboard pressure, just 2 guys, a pond, and a little tradition that turned into something unforgettable. It happens every year during Masters practice rounds. On the par 3 16th, players try to skip the ball across the water. Most fail, a few get lucky. But in 2009, Vijay Singh did the impossible. He launched a ball that skipped across the pond like a stone. Once, twice, 3 times. It climbed the slope of the green, curled with the perfect speed, and dropped. A hole-in-one on a skipped shot. The crowd absolutely lost it. Someone yelled, "You'll never see that again." Except we did, because 11 years later in 2020, Jon Rahm walked up to the very same hole, on his birthday no less, and decided to give it a go. He wasn't just fooling around. He was about to create a shot so unreal it looked fake. He struck it clean. 3 skips. The ball glided up the green like it was magnetized to the flag. Then it started to break, rolling faster, curving perfectly. And just when you thought it might stop short, it vanished, right into the cup. Another ace, another skipped ace, on video, in slow motion. And on his birthday. You couldn't script that. 2 aces, 2 skips, 2 jaw-dropping moments that didn't even make the scorecard but became instant Masters legends. Now at number 11. Imagine this. You're standing on the 18th green at Augusta National, a light rain falling, the green jacket within reach. You line up a 25-foot birdie putt, the kind you dream about as a kid, knowing it's your chance to make history. That's exactly where Adam Scott found himself at the 2013 Masters. But what happened next? It took a turn no one expected. Scott was chasing more than a win. Australia had never seen one of its own claim the Masters. And after years of heartbreak, including Scott's own collapse at the 2012 Open, this moment was about redemption. But then came Angel Cabrera. The 2009 Masters champion, nicknamed El Pato, wasn't done yet. Calm and composed, Cabrera landed a brilliant approach shot on the 18th, setting up a clutch birdie to force a playoff. The rain picked up, the tension thickened, and suddenly the green jacket was still up for grabs. The playoff began back on the 18th. Both players made pars, refusing to give an inch. Then it was on to the 10th hole, one of Augusta's most iconic and treacherous. Both drives found the fairway, but Scott's approach shot was the difference, landing just 15 feet from the hole. Cabrera left himself a tougher putt, missing his chance for birdie. Now it was Scott's moment. The gallery fell silent as he stood over his putt, the weight of a nation on his shoulders once again. With a smooth stroke, he sent the ball rolling and into the center of the cup. History was made. Which brings us to number 10. When it comes to unforgettable moments in golf, Tiger Woods' insane chip-in on the 16th hole at the 2005 Masters is in a league of its own. By that point, Tiger was already a living legend. But this shot? It was something only Tiger could pull off. He was locked in a tight battle with Chris DeMarco during the final round, holding on to a slim one-stroke lead. But then, after his tee shot flew past the green, things were looking shaky. Now, here's where it gets wild. Tiger's ball was stuck in the rough with thick grass all around and a tricky, sloping green ahead, a shot most would struggle with. Even CBS commentator Lanny Wadkins couldn't believe the challenge, saying that if Tiger got the ball within 15 feet, it would be a huge win. Then, Tiger steps up to the ball, lines it up like he's done a million times before, and with that signature smooth swing, he lets it fly. The ball pops off the club face, sailing through the air, and then it hits the green. But not just anywhere, it lands in exactly the right spot, high up on the slope. And that's where the magic begins. The ball starts rolling slowly towards the hole. It keeps rolling, and you can feel the energy building as it gets closer, then boom, it reaches the cup. And what does it do? It stops right on the edge. The whole world gasps. It's like time freezes. Seconds feel like minutes. And just when it seems like it might stay there forever, gravity finally kicks in. Bam! It drops. The crowd explodes, people are losing their minds. Tiger just pulled off what seemed impossible. And the way that ball paused on the lip, it was like golf's version of a dramatic mic drop. Rolling in at number 9, we've got Larry Mize versus Greg Norman in the 1987 Masters. And oh boy, is this one going to hurt if you're a Greg Norman fan. This one actually starts with 3 players in the mix: Seve Ballesteros, Greg Norman, and Larry Mize. But Seve bows out after the first playoff hole, leaving the stage set for a dramatic duel between Norman and Mize. Then comes the moment that would haunt Norman for years. Now, let's set the scene. It's the second playoff hole, the par 4 11th at Augusta's Amen Corner. Norman is in prime position, safely on the green with a putt for birdie. Meanwhile, Mize, he's 140 feet away from the pin, sitting in a scruffy patch of fairway with an awkward lie. But then, Mize pulls off the unthinkable. He takes his wedge, strikes it clean, and the ball starts rolling, a perfect line straight toward the hole. And then, it drops dead center. Larry Mize just chipped in for the win. Unbelievable. The crowd explodes into chaos. Norman's standing there in shock, and just like that, a local Augusta boy becomes Masters champion. Coming in at number 8 is a moment so perfect, so absurdly cinematic, it felt like Augusta turned into a Hollywood set. It was the final hole of the 2022 Masters. Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa had both found themselves in the exact same greenside bunker on 18. Awkward lie, tricky angle, Sunday pressure. You'd think they'd be playing defense. Nope. Rory steps up first. He splashes it out and the ball starts tracking, rolling, curling, and then boom, it drops. Hole out birdie. The crowd erupts. Rory throws his club, screams to the heavens, and sprints out of the bunker like he'd just won the lottery. The crowd's still buzzing, and now it's Morikawa's turn, and everyone's thinking, there's no way this happens twice. But it does. Morikawa hits his shot, and it's deja vu. Same slope, same speed, same result. Another hole out from the same bunker, back to back. The crowd lost their minds. People were jumping like they'd just seen a UFO land on the green. Grown adults were high-fiving strangers. Even Rory looked like he couldn't believe what just happened. Like, did we just break golf? Two superstars, two impossible shots, one shared bunker, and one unforgettable ending. But wait until you hear about what Louis Oosthuizen did at the 2012 Masters. We're at Augusta National, one of golf's most sacred grounds. It's the final round, and Louis is standing on the second tee, ready to take on a par 5 that's already tested the nerves of legends. He steps up, takes a swing, and sends the ball soaring down the fairway with his driver. It's a beauty, straight, powerful, and lands perfectly in position, setting him up for an approach most players could only dream of. And then comes the moment that would go down in history. Louis is now 253 yards from the hole. He pulls out his 4-iron. Most players would just hope to get the ball somewhere on the green from this distance. But Louis? He's about to do something that only 3 other players had ever done at the Masters. His shot hits the front of the green perfectly, and then the ball starts rolling, tracking toward the flag, and suddenly it disappears into the hole. An albatross, the rarest score in golf. The crowd erupts. Even the usually stoic Louis can't help but smile. In one incredible moment, he just made the first double eagle ever on the second hole at Augusta. Next, number 6. Bubba Watson's 2012 Masters playoff moment? Oh, that's the stuff legends are made of. Picture this. Bubba's on the 10th hole at Augusta National, sudden death playoff, and his tee shot goes wild, straight into the trees. For most golfers, even the greats, this is the point where you're throwing in the towel. But Bubba, no way. He was just getting started. He's standing 164 yards out, surrounded by dogwoods and pine trees, with barely a sliver of the green in sight. The ball's sitting up on pine straw, and what does Bubba do? He taps into that magic only he's got. Instead of playing it safe like everyone's expecting, he starts visualizing this insane hook shot that would make any golfer's jaw drop. Even Nick Faldo, calling it from the booth, is pretty much saying, yeah, no chance. But Bubba? Oh, Bubba had a plan. With his 52-degree ping wedge in hand, he sets up almost perpendicular to the green. Yeah, perpendicular. He closes his stance and lets it rip. The ball shoots off the pine straw and starts curving so hard it looks like it's bending the rules of golf itself. Time feels like it's standing still as it snakes through the trees. And then, bam! It lands just 15 feet from the pin. It was one of those shots that you've got to see to believe. A simple 2-putt later, Bubba's wearing his first green jacket, leaving everyone completely speechless. That moment didn't just win him the Masters, it cemented him as one of golf's unorthodox geniuses. Sliding into our top 5, and this is a moment that left the entire sports world completely speechless. Imagine being written off by almost everyone, your career seemingly over, your body broken, and your personal life in shambles. No one believes you'll ever compete at the highest level again. Then, against all odds, you step back onto golf's biggest stage and pull off the most unbelievable comeback in sports history. That's exactly what Tiger Woods did at the 2019 Masters. Let's set the scene. Tiger Woods, once untouchable, had faced an unimaginable fall from grace. 4 back surgeries, personal scandals, a DUI arrest in 2017. Many thought his career was over. But at Augusta National, the place where his legacy began, Tiger reminded the world why he's one of the greatest. The final round was pure drama. As the back 9 unfolded, it was anyone's game. Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, and Xander Schauffele all made strong charges. But Woods, with his signature calm under pressure, navigated the chaos with a steady hand. By the time he tapped in for par on the 18th, he had secured a one-shot victory and his 15th major title. And then came the moment no one will ever forget. The embrace with his mother, the hug with his 2 kids, who had never seen their dad win a major. It was impossible not to think back to 1997 when a 21-year-old Tiger celebrated his first Masters win with his late father. This wasn't just a win, it was a full-circle moment. 22 years in the making. Now, number 4. Well, it was supposed to be his moment. Greg Norman had been chasing the green jacket for years, and in 1996, it finally looked like fate had lined everything up. 3 rounds in, he was unstoppable. A course record 63 on Thursday, a 6-shot lead heading into Sunday. Norman didn't just have a cushion, he had a fortress. But Augusta doesn't care about storylines. and Sunday didn't play favorites. It started with a missed putt, then a drive into the trees. A few more holes passed, and suddenly that 6-shot lead wasn't so comfortable. Nick Faldo, ever the silent assassin, just kept grinding, quietly erasing the gap, one par, one birdie at a time. By the time they reached Amen Corner, something had changed. Norman's shoulders slumped. His swing lost its edge. The man who once walked with swagger now looked like he was just trying to survive. Then came the back nine. Splash on 12, 3-putt on 15. The nightmare was in full swing. Norman shot a 78 and watched a 6-shot lead turn into a 5-shot loss. When it was over, Faldo didn't celebrate. He felt the intense pain of Norman and walked straight over to him. Not as a rival, but as a fellow human who had just witnessed a man collapse in front of millions. He wrapped Norman in a quiet hug and simply said, "I don't know what to say. Yes, you've made it to our top 3 of the most unbelievable moments ever happened at the Masters. It was all going too perfectly. That's the thing about Augusta. It doesn't warn you, it just waits." Rory McIlroy was 21, leading wire to wire, smiling his way through Augusta National like he owned the place. After 3 rounds of near-flawless golf, he'd built a 4-shot cushion heading into Sunday. The headlines were basically written. A new king is crowned. The future is now. The Masters has a new golden boy. And for 9 holes, that dream stayed intact. He turned in 37. Nothing flashy, but still in control. But then came the back 9, and Augusta did what Augusta does. The 10th hole, a long, bending par 4, hit first. A wild tee shot led to a triple bogey. Okay, still time. But what followed wasn't just bad golf. It was a total nightmare. Bogey at 11. Then disaster at the 12th. Nerves, indecision, and a double bogey on one of the shortest holes on the course. Then his tee shot on 13, wet. By the time he walked off that green, the lead had vanished, the crowd was stunned silent, and McIlroy looked like a ghost of the player we'd watched for 3 days. He carded an 80, the worst round of the day, and finished tied for 15th. Well, sometimes golf breaks you before it builds you. Next, number 2. The world of golf changed forever in 1997 when 21-year-old Tiger Woods set the Masters tournament on fire. Tiger became the youngest player in history to win, and not just by a little bit. He absolutely crushed the competition with an unbelievable 12-stroke victory. Let that sink in, gentlemen. 12 strokes. To this day, no one's even come close to that kind of blowout at the Masters. He was tearing through that field like he'd been doing it for decades, leaving everyone else looking like amateurs. Golf Digest even called it the dawn of dominance, and oh man, were they right. Tiger stormed through all 4 rounds, but the moment that sealed the deal, his insane 3rd round 65 going 7 under. That's when the rest of the field probably realized, yeah, we're done here. By the time the final round rolled around, Tiger was untouchable. When it was all said and done, Woods lifted his first ever Masters trophy, and, more importantly, he had rewritten golf history by the end of that day. And the crazy part? The world knew. This was just the beginning of something legendary. Over the next 20 years, Tiger didn't disappoint, collecting 15 major titles and sitting right behind the GOAT himself, Jack Nicklaus. And finally, the big number 1. It wasn't supposed to happen. Not to him, not here, not like this. Jordan Spieth wasn't just leading the 2016 Masters, he was cruising. The defending champ, already a 2-time major winner at just 22, was halfway through his final round with a 5-shot lead. The green jacket looked like it was already hanging in his locker. But then, he turned into Amen Corner, and Augusta turned on him. It started with a bogey on 10. No big deal. A little stumble. Then another on 11. Okay, starting to wobble. But when he stepped onto the tee at 12, that's when everything shattered. His tee shot? Splash. Right into Rays Creek. The drop? Splash again. Panic creeping in. Then a flubbed bunker shot. Then more chaos. And just like that, Spieth wrote down a 7 on a hole where most players hit 7 irons. In less than half an hour, the golden boy of golf went from leading by 5 to trailing by 3. It didn't look real. People were staring at their TVs, blinking like their eyes were playing tricks on them. This was supposed to be his moment, his back-to-back Masters win, the start of a dynasty. Instead, it became the collapse that defined an era. What made it so brutal wasn't just the scorecard carnage, it was who it happened to. Spieth was supposed to be untouchable, calm, unshakable, the guy who could walk through fire and come out smiling. But Augusta doesn't care about your resume. And on that Sunday, it reminded the world, no one is safe from Amen Corner. Oh, and now you're still with us? We have another great golf video for you to watch, right in the middle of the screen. Enjoy.